As I was running late to my appointment today, I was just thinking about what God wants for me or from me. And I got this idea from watching Dwayne's video from Tack Room Bible Talks. I'll link his channel in the description, but I just got this idea. I was thinking about it because he describes in his video what God wanted from Adam in the Garden of Eden in the beginning. It struck me because I've always wondered what God wants from me. I've always asked God that, what do you want from me, God? out of annoyance, out of anger, out of frustration, out of many different things. I've always asked out of happiness and loneliness. But I've asked that question many times. God, what do you want from me? And Dwayne puts it really well. I remember God wanted Adam to trust him. God wanted obedience from Adam. And I don't remember the other point. But that's one thing. The last point that I said there, obedience. What does that look like for me to be obedient to God's will? I think that part of what it looks like for me is recognizing what God's will is for me in my life, seeing the things that happen to me. You know, let's take me getting injured, for example. Me getting injured at work. Maybe it wasn't God's will for me to get injured specifically, but it was God's will for me to use this injury to better myself one way or another. Maybe not physically better myself, but to spiritually better myself or mentally better myself. Being obedient to God's will in my life looks like that. That I am taking the circumstances that I am in my life, such as getting injured at work, and I'm turning it around for betterment, for good. One thing that it's given me is a lot of time with my family, and I don't think I've appreciated that enough. So I've been reflecting on that recently, that God gave me a lot of time with my family these last few months after being injured, just to love them and to be loved on. And it's been really good. It's been a really good time. All right, all done with my appointment. And I was thinking while I was at my appointment that, my wife needed flowers. And one of the things that I have been trying to do recently is get my wife random gifts, because I have not been good at that through our relationship. And I thought it would be really special to get my daughter some flowers too. She's 2.5, or almost 2.5. So pink for her and purple for my wife. And I got some of my wife's favorite dark chocolate sunflower seed buttercups. They'll enjoy those, I'm sure. But like I was saying earlier, man, I just got totally thrown off at the end there before I got to my appointment because I was running late. But have to have a lot of patience around here at Trader Joe's and this little parking lot here, because there's quite a few elderly that drive in this area. And you have to have a lot of patience when driving in this area, just the nature of the area that we're driving in. But anyways, I got thrown off there before my appointment because I didn't really know what to tell them about my condition of my injury, because nothing's really changed. I think I've become more tolerant of the pain, which is not a good thing. But most days now I'm feeling better. with less pain, I guess. It doesn't hurt as much to drive anymore, which is a really good thing because I've been wanting to drive more. I really enjoy driving. I guess that's why my vlogs have been in the car, because I really enjoy driving, and I think that it's a good time for me to reflect and talk about things. Like I was saying earlier about God wanting obedience, I think that, at least this is my opinion, that God wants cheerful children. God wants his children to live life joyously and lovingly, and to not be constantly sad or depressed or anything like that. And I guess the point I'm trying to make here is, when you're obedient to God's will in a joyful manner, your day goes by in a better mood, in a better way. And you're not constantly being dragged down by your mood because this happened to you or this happened to you, but instead looking at it in a joyful way. Like my injury, I'm looking at it in a joyful way, as in, I was injured from circumstances out of my control, but through this injury, I've been growing spiritually, I've been growing mentally, I've been growing relationally with my family, and I'm just looking at it in a good light, I guess. And that is, I think, what God desires from us. When things happen to us, we aren't just instantly dragged down and woe is me and why is this happening to me. We look past the sadness of it all, or the circumstance of the inconvenient circumstance of whatever it is that is inconveniencing us in our life, and we are engaged with the better part of our brain saying, okay, this isn't that bad. It could have been worse, and I'm glad it's not. And this gives me a new opportunity to go through my life and have a better outlook on it. I guess the overarching point of the whole conversation is, have a better outlook on your circumstances that you're living. Whether it's an injury, a loss of a job, have a better outlook on what can come from it. Smile and know that God desires joy from you and joy for you. God desires joy for you. And it is a conscious decision for us to be joyful in times of trial. So to make that conscious decision each day, I'm going to be joyful even if there is a challenging trial ahead of me. Thanks for joining me on this little drive to the appointment, and afterwards getting this gift for my wife and daughter. Hopefully you got something from the point that I was trying to make, and it gives you a little bit of insight into how I go through my day and why I'm happy even in times of trial. See you guys in the next one.